kedua dipersilakan.
Ya. Pertamanya dulu pertama kali ngopi itu udah ambil kerja semuanya iya udah ini masuknya masuk itu udah bertiga lalu keluar
Kas.
Siap, udah ready. Oh, udah rekam. Filmnya kan itu juga bisa sampai kayak ngawasin aja. Udah. Deketin.
Can we start
Deketin.
now?
Kelihatan gede gitu.
All right. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Anda. I will be your MC and as well as moderator for the class of the day. Today, welcome to the English presentation session of the Mapres, the most outstanding students. Okay, the most outstanding students awards, Faculty of Law and Business Indonesia, 2019. So today we're going to start the English presentation session. As well, yesterday we already have the Indonesian Bahasa presentation session. So before we begin, let us pray for our well-being and the well-being of this event. Prayers, comments. Okay. Before we begin, I would like to introduce the judges. First, we have Abang Chris Wijoyo. He's a lecturer from the Department of Fundamentals of Jurisprudence. Yeah, dari dasar-dasar hukum. And we have Ibu Natalina Nayubaho, lecturer from Criminal Law Department. And we have Ibu Jurma from the International Law Department. And we have Ibu Ina from the Department of Law, Society and Development. And we also have Ibu Hemi, which going outside for a moment. She's a lecturer from the Civil Law Department. And also we have Bapak Heru Susetio, which is on the way here. He's from the Law, Society and Development Department. And we also have one representative from the students, which is the Ketua BEM, the head of student executive bodies, which is also on the way here. Okay, after I introduce the judges, I would like to introduce the rules of this event, the technical stuff that maybe I will guide it on the way there. For the turn, the finalists will be decided by this fishbowl. So the judges, representative of the judges will take one of this paper inside the fishbowl, and the one whose name is being come out from this fishbowl will have its turn to present he or she he or she. I'm sorry. Yeah, that's what I meant. So they will present after the name come out from this fishbowl. So for the time,
Lopo.
so after that, the presentation time will the duration will be 10 minutes. All of the time will be displayed on the monitor over there in the front. So every finalist will have 10 minutes of presentation, and after that will be followed by 20 minutes of judge duration to ask or kind of give objection towards the student's paper. The system is like a dissertation defense. So 20 minutes, question and answer directly. And after that, after 20 minutes done, I'll be cutting the discussion. But for the judges, we have a 5 minutes extension. So if there's something that want to be asked further from students, we will give 5 minutes addition to every finalist. But after that, I'm really sorry because of the time constraints. I have to interrupt or maybe cut the discussion. Okay, that's all about it. Can we begin to the first session? Maybe representative from the judges can take one name from Chris. One name.
Okay.
Michael Amos. Not present yet. So wait a second, because yesterday we have rules that the one who's not present will get a penalty on his grades. So Michael Amos will get a penalty for that. Okay, Muhammad Abdul Jabbar will
Coba di sana. Abdul ini kecil buat headset and Pulang dulu kan?
Ya.
Set. Set, kan start dulu lagi. Set.
Oke, bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning everyone. Salam Om Swastiastu, Namo Buddhaya. In this time, I will bring a topic, Integrated Supervisory Tax Unit, the urgency to strengthen Satgas Waspada Investasi for strengthening peer-to-peer lending in Indonesia. While innovation in the context of economic growth is the use of fintech. Based on the Indonesian Fintech Association, Satgas Sulaiman, in the Uptech annual report, there were 235 fintech companies in Indonesia in December 2017. Of all the fintech, the fastest growing fintech subsector is peer-to-peer lending or P2P lending. The number of business recorded grew by 16% in 2016 to 32% in 2017. This increased the total financing disbursed up from 200 billion at the end of 2016 to 2.5 trillion at the end of 2017. However, P2P lending faces many problems as new innovation in financial industry. Formulation of the problem I bring is how is the urgency of stemming fintech P2P lending in Indonesia? How is the mechanism for strengthening Satgas Waspada Investasi in order to strengthen fintech P2P lending? And what are the benefits of strengthening Satgas Waspada Investasi for fintech P2P lending? The creative ideas I bring in this presentation is role of government to guarantee safe and stable P2P lending. To achieve this, institutional integration is needed to maintain the sustainability of P2P lending and protect investors and borrowers in their transactions. Before entering into my analysis and synthesis, I will bring literature review. SDGs and its connection to P2P lending. P2P lending have a connection with number 8, 9, 10 of SDGs. The P2P lending will have to accelerate economic growth, and it was an innovation in the financial industry which will be a solution for inclusiveness in Indonesia. In a broader definition, fintech is defined as companies in the industry that use technology to streamline the financial system and financial delivery. Fintech activities in financial service can be classified into 5 categories, namely transfer, clearing and settlement payments, deposit, loans, and additional capital, risk management, market support, and investment management. And from loans category, there is P2P lending. P2P lending is a technology platform that brings together borrowers with lenders digitally. There are several models of P2P lending, namely P2P business lending, which bring together lenders from a loan company with borrower from individual, and P2P consumer, which bring together lenders and borrower from individual, and P2P property lending, which bring together loans with property for. And there is POJK number 77, POJK 01/2016. Under this regulation, P2P lending must register and do permission before performing its service. Because this regulation, P2P lending divided into 2. There are legal P2P lending and illegal P2P lending. The problems fintech P2P lending faces, most of them are illegal P2P lending. Based on the OJK report in December 2018, there are 404 illegal P2P lending. They have published it in their website. And the second is for borrower. The borrower who apply loan in the P2P lending but not want to come back the loan or fraud. And the third is exploitation from lenders. Based on YLKI report, there are many consumers of the P2P lending who has been exploited by lenders of P2P lending. And last is Satgas Waspada Investasi. It's a task force to handle allegation of illegal actions in the field of public fundraising and investment management. This task force was formed based on the decision of the OJK Board of Commissioners. This Satgas Waspada Investasi consists of 7 institutions, 5 institutions for regulation and 2 institutions for law enforcement. There are OJK, Kementerian Koperasi and UKM, Kominfo, Kementerian Keuangan, BKPM, Kejaksaan, dan Kepolisian. So analysis and synthesis. The urgency to strengthen P2P lending in Indonesia, because in 2018 the total loans made through fintech P2P lending are around 22 trillion. This increased significantly only from 2 trillion in early January 2017. The significant increase is because of benefits. The benefits stated by respondent for fintech are saving time, no need to go to the bank physically, safer and more practical, easy to use, better in financial management, more profitable than commercial banking products. This P2P lending financial service provides financial inclusion for Indonesian people. This is certainly a solution for the Indonesian people in overcoming several problems as follows. 49 billion SMEs cannot make loans because they are not bankability. They have a warrant for applying a loan in bank. So P2P lending can be a solution for this. And the second is 60% of commercial financing service are concentrated in Java. So P2P lending can access it all over the Indonesia because it's online. And the third is 1,000 trillion financing development every year has not been fulfilled. Bank only can fulfill 700 out of 1,700 trillion every year. So P2P lending can become a solution for this. The mechanism for strengthening Satgas Waspada Investasi in order to strengthen fintech P2P lending. Basically, the effectiveness of administrative law enforcement can be seen from the following methods. Ability to detect, ability to respond, ability to punish, and ability to build perception. Without this, the regulation cannot work effectively. Therefore, OJK regulate and supervise our financial sector. However, the regulation and supervision are not effective, considering that OJK regulation only apply internally. So, therefore, Satgas Waspada Investasi was formed based on the decree of the OJK on 2016. However, Satgas Waspada Investasi has a limited task in the financial sector in the area of public fundraising, only in area of public fundraising and investment management. Therefore, Satgas Waspada Investasi can be upgraded to have a broader authority, so it can access all financial sector, not only limited to fundraising and investment. In addition to strengthen Satgas Waspada Investasi for strengthening P2P lending service, BPKM's participation is a matter that should be considered. The benefits of strengthening Satgas Waspada Investasi for fintech P2P lending: overall, support and maintain P2P lending service as the one of country solution for financial inclusiveness solution. And this will be a solution for the three problems I stated before. The first problem with P2P lending service in the form of an illegal P2P lending platform can be overcome. By Kominfo, the Kominfo can shut down the illegal P2P lending platform. And the second, with for borrower, Satgas Waspada Investasi with consists with police can investigate parties who commit fraud against laws and give criminal penalty to them. And the third, in terms of lenders, supervision can be done so that lenders continue to pay attention to the rights of borrower and consumers of P2 lending services. With joining the BPKM, maybe it will be supervision to lenders so they don't give untransparent requirement to the consumers of P2P lending. Conclusion and recommendation. Conclusion, with the first formulation of problem, P2P lending service can be a solution for financial exclusivity in Indonesia. So it's urgent to strengthen this platform. The second, strengthening regulation for P2P lending to support and protect P2P lending. Certain cannot work without an institution that makes the regulation effective. One solution that can be used is the strengthening Satgas Waspada Investasi. Strengthening Satgas Waspada Investasi in P2P lending service can overcome the problem and risk of P2P lending. Recommendation: the upgrade of Satgas Waspada Investasi that can reach our financial sector is needed, given the technological growth that has resulted in many innovations in the financial sector.
Now we're going to have the judges' time, 10 minutes for question and answer. Can we begin when the judges start their questions? So, please, any one of the judges. This is directly answer question and answer. So every judge has the rights to ask the question. Okay.
Oh, belum.
Belum. Ntar baru nanya. 20.
Thank you,
Nah, baru.
Jabar, for the presentation. I have some question for you related to the questions of the listeners. Because on the PowerPoint, you start the question with how, right? But on the paper, it's what. And I just want to know why it's the difference? What's the consequence if you still put it what and
Yang bisa
Sama.
lagi ya?
when you put there how? So,
Salah, salah, salah.
first question.
Terus, terus.
Formulation of problem.
Yes, this formulation of problem.
Terus.
Because
Nah.
here is, I think for two questions, right? But the third question, the same, I think.
Aneh.
But the
Anak
first
kecil
and second,
gini-gini.
it's written there is what and is how. And why did you put the different question? Yes. The first question. And the second one, you mentioned about that you want to broaden the power of the Satgas Waspada investigation, Satgas Waspada investasi, broaden the authority, right, as you mentioned on the final phase. And in Indonesia, I think since the Reformation, many of the institutions are asked or are pushed to broaden their authority. But then the problem is there are many overlap of authority. If you recommend for the Satgas Waspada investasi
Ajarin.
broaden
Ah, nggak bisa.
Kemarin sama.
then
Ya.
what kind of
20 tambah 5
problem that
Iya.
you may see in the future? Just what you mean, just in your mind. You think that it might happen if they become they have more. So that's the two question that I'd like to ask from you. Thank you.
Kemarin gue ngerasa mau kelas di dah.
Maybe for the first question,
Bentar lagi.
why in the paper I said what, and in the presentation
Nah,
I said how. I think it's my mistake when writing in the paper because it's there is a gap for 1 week, and
ini
this I correct in my presentation.
Yeah.
So this is the last one.
Yes, this is the new one after 1 week. And the second question about the two burden the authority of Satgas Waspada investasi. Actually, I proposed this idea because there is a there is a plan of law because OJK have already regulated the regulation, but with illegal P2P lending, they can't to shut down the illegal P2P lending, so they need to contact Kominfo to shut down it. But actually, they have already in Satgas Waspada investasi, but Satgas Waspada investasi has only the authority for fundraising and investment. So they can access the financial sector and the other financial sector. While in this technology growth, the innovation in the financial sector is grow rapidly, and so the OJK, while I read in the several news, they propose to make a new Satgas integrated institution body. So why not we broaden the Satgas Waspada investasi which has been access and push the investasi bodong. And maybe for the problem of broaden the authority, overall, if this is one institution, maybe the class of authority with the other institution. But because Satgas Waspada investasi is not an institution but a body with integrated institution, actually the authority has been of their own institution, but is integrated, so they can communicate effectively to overcome the illegal P2P lending and others. There are 7.
Judges, would you to ask?
Yeah, following the question from Bapak Sesi, in action that you stated in the presentation, could you give us example of case study regarding when you supported the Satgas Waspada Investasi in action in the field of public fundraising and investment management? So I need a real case related to that one. The illegal action that you mentioned on your presentation.
Satgas Waspada Investasi is built in 2016. This Satgas was the solution for investasi bodong, for many investasi bodong in Indonesia. And because this Satgas Waspada Investasi, the investasi bodong have been locked down now. But this Satgas Waspada Investasi only have an authority in their authority website only for fundraising and investment management because it's a commercial one. But in this day, the financial have grown and there are many innovation in financial sector, not only in the field of commercial like this.
Can you mention one company that commit such an illegal action?
Sorry, I forgot because there are so many, but I don't remember it. But the Satgas Waspada Investasi in the last years are passing their authority because they are shutting down several illegal P2P lending platform. There are 404 illegal P2P lending in the OJK list, and Satgas Waspada Investasi is shutting it. But they actually have an authority for that. So I suggest to broaden the authority first.
Because I was thinking to ask whether it will be the individual or the corporate will take responsibility for their actions. That's what I mean. If you don't have question or you don't have any data, that's okay.
Thank you, Miss, for the question. But I wanna answer. But in the news I read, there are from individual and from company. I forgot the name of the matter.
Okay. Is it any judges who want to ask a question? Yeah. We have 10 minutes.
Okay, thank you. This last couple of, there are some issues related with consumers, with the existence of this kind of illegal P2P lending. And there are some cases brought or reported by consumers, and we become the victims of this kind of illegal. And can you mention what action have been conducted or done by the task force in helping consumers or to resolve their disputes? Do they have the authorities in assisting consumers?
Actually, in Satgas Waspada Investasi for investasi bodong, the consumers who are the victim of investasi bodong, they can report to OJK, and OJK will tell Satgas Waspada Investasi to do with the investasi bodong. So they should be responsible of their activities. But in B2B lending, because Satgas Waspada Investasi have an authority of that, this still a problem of OJK. OJK can only give a list of illegal B2B lending without respond to the problem. They only give a list of 404 illegal B2B lending in the last December, but this still rolling.
Can you clarify what you mean by shutting down is kind of B2B?
Yes, B2B lending is
Shutting down. What do you mean by shutting down?
B2B lending is a platform innovation in financial industry in a form of platform. But the shutting down of platform is an authority of Kominfo. What I mean with shutting it down, Kominfo is closing the website, so the website is closed and cannot be accessed. Cannot be accessed.
Any more questions? Look at this.
Bos, masih declare ya?
No. We still have 8 minutes and 5 minutes sessions. So there's no question. If there's no question from the judges, I would like to open the question from the public. Is there any guest who present here want to ask a question to Abdul Jabbar? I give the opportunities for the public to ask questions like yesterday. If there's no question from the judges, then there's still time. So no, everyone here in this room want to leave their rights, their time to ask the bar. Yeah, can we end it now? Judges, okay. Okay, thank you, Jabbar. You can pass it, Jabbar. Okay. Okay. So for the last, for the second turn, I would like any judges who wants to take this. Okay, the second turn will be Elisa Ramakasari's turn. So while Elisa is preparing her presentations, I would like to give a gratitude to our partners, which their contribution is invaluable to this event. We have a list of sponsors. First, we got from Asagaf Hamzah and Partners, which today the Asagaf Hamzah Hotel Law Firm have Ibu Diah and Bapak Afan as representatives. Thank you, Ibu Diah and Bapak Afan. And then we have Arianto Arnaldo Law Firm, which also have representative which presence here, Ibu Astrella and Ibu Nesha. Thank you for coming. And then we have Abdul Hakim Garuda Nusantara, Harman and Partners. We have Iswara Bujamin and Tanjung. FHP Edulo, Ali Budiarjo and Rexo Duto Law Firm, and Pusat Studi Hukum dan Kebijakan Indonesia. Okay, is that ready?
Ya, udah kepencet.
Good morning, everyone.
Aduh.
So please, I introduce myself first. My name is Elisa Ramakasari, and today I want to present about my paper, the food waste reduction regulation as government's way to reach food security in Indonesia. So, you know that food waste, which is done by throwing leftover foods and excess foods, is one of several problems that faced by the world citizens today. this problem has a significant impact on food security, environment, and global economy. And what we can see in the slide in the front as whereas as country with serious hunger, and the global hunger index for Indonesia is 21.9. But in other hand, we can see that according to Economics Intelligence Unit in 2018, in the same year, Indonesia got 15th rank in a category of food loss and waste. That means that Indonesia have a highest food waste disposal. So this is an irony. And you know that in Bantar Gebang landfill, 39% of the waste that thrown right there is food waste. So this is an irony. In other place we have a serious hunger, but in the same time we have wasting so many food waste disposal. So this is my problems formulation. The first is how to overcome food waste problem in Indonesia, and the second, how to regulate the food waste as an effort to overcome high rates of food waste disposal in Indonesia. So to solve this problem, maybe Indonesia can learn from Denmark, who is the first country who initiates about food waste reduction. So in this country, there are two biggest factors that can change this country to reduce the food waste. There are initiatives from the government and initiatives from the society. So from community, there are a movement that's called by Still of Map movement. There is a Stop Wasting Food that initiated by Sally Najul in 2008. Then after that, after this, the people right there understand about it. The government support this community by making the regulation in the statutory order number 48 on West, and give support to this community to provide information about food waste. And not only that, he formed the G initiative against food waste and in this forum, they connect so many leaders from the restaurant, from the groceries, and policymakers to discuss about food waste reduction. And the results are the charter of less affordable food waste. And the impact, there are change of society perspective about food waste. Then the restaurants also provide the food rent to wrap the leftover foods. And not only that, not only the society, but the institution and the places in public places have do the same way too. And how about in Indonesia? In Indonesia have the same community like in Denmark, like the movement in Stop Wasting Food. So in Indonesia, there are so many community who have focused to food waste reduction, like the Hunger Bank, then the Garda Pangan in Surabaya, and in Jakarta, there are Food Bank of Indonesia who have missions to reduce the food waste and giving the excess foods to anyone who need it. But for the wasting, to solve the problems, to solve the food waste problems, Indonesia doesn't have a preventive way to solve it. Indonesia have a regulation that regulates about the repressive ways. There are law number 18 of 28 about waste management. But in terms of reducing waste, Indonesia government not focus on the preventive, but they focus only on the repressive. So I think it must be Indonesia focus to focus in the preventive way too, because there is I think it's better to prevent than to cure after the problems is faced by us. And I will go to the question. So first, how to overcome food waste problems in Indonesia? So the things that really need for us is a collaboration between the government and the community. Because I think the collaboration is really important. So how to do it? The do it is by doing our our role as a community. We can help the government to provide information to another society about the importance of not throwing away the food that's still worth eating, and support the government by obey the regulation. And from the government side, we can make uh, Revis Law number 18 about 2012 and make regional regulations about food waste reduction, and from the controller to control about the implementation of the regulation. And after that, we turn to the next question is how the food waste regulation as an effort to overcome food waste or food waste disposal in Indonesia. So the steps are first in 2020 until 2023, the government gives support to the related communities to engage the society not to waste food that still worth eating. So after in this periods, we can give information and understand the society about this, and after that we can revise law number 18 of 2012 about foods, and in 2024 until 2025, minimal 5 cities or districts make regional regulation about food waste reductions. And after that, 2030, the society already have awareness not only waste the food and give the excess food to the world eating to the people who need it. And the stage to implementing the law is first is legal knowledge that the government give a knowledge, then legal understanding, so we make the people understand the reason of the law and etc. And the SWOT is here. So the strength is regional has to autonomy to implementing it, and the weakness is needs consistency. But the opportunity is Indonesian characteristic, especially in people who loves to help people and loves to give to another people. And the trait is the society perspective about the food. So the conclusion is first to overcome the food waste problems in Indonesia, we have to do preventive way by making related regulations and both government and community have to collaborate each other. And the second one, there are so many steps that should the government do. First, revise law number 18 of 2012. Then city or district government make regional regulation about food waste reduction. Then this regulation we can evaluate it periodically. And if this regulation can implement it well in our country, I believe that the amount of hunger and the amount of food waste disposal in Indonesia can be decreased. So here's from me. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you. So we're going to start the 20 minutes judges time to question and answer. Okay, we have the first timer ready.
Okay. Thank you. Hello, Elisa. It's nice to look at your paper, and also this is a very interesting thing to talk about, because we actually, we have very urgent problem in food waste in Indonesia. But firstly, I want to ask you about your methods in construct this paper. In your paper review, you said that
Yang ngomong mana?
his research
Nyata
is
begini.
juridical normative and use descriptive qualitative
Belakang.
approach. Based on my
Jangan salah.
knowledge,
Bisa.
if you say that juridical normative methods and it's different with the social-legal approach, because in juridical normative you should only use one single method. So if you want to put the social perspective a little bit in this paper, I think it's better you say that using normative and also empirical perspective, or you can say that social legal studies. That's the first. But I want to know more.
Just blaming.
How do you collect the data for this paper? Because you already mentioned that this is a qualitative approach. And okay, my second question is, why do you compare the condition in Indonesia to Denmark? Because do you know Kerala kitchen? Kerala kitchen?
No, I
No.
haven't heard.
Okay. Yeah, because in Malaysia they also have the mechanism in manage the food waste. So some of the food that still can eat, they distribute to the public kitchen, especially in some area in Kuala Lumpur. But because of the people that distribute that is from Kerala, so they call it as Kerala kitchen. So yeah, I wonder why you compare it with Denmark rather than our in other country in Asia. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Miss, for the advice. And for the first, my method is from the internet, so I collect data from the internet. So I found in some places like Lokadata, then in the Food Sustainability Index and the Global Hunger Index. So I found it from there. And for the second one, why I choose Denmark instead of Malaysia. So why I choose Denmark is because Denmark is the first country who initiated about the food waste reduction. And the same, I think Indonesia and Denmark, although it's not about the population, but Indonesia and Denmark has the same cause to make this happen, because in Denmark it starts from the community. So I think in Indonesia we have the same community too, and there is the community is not only one, but it's spread in another region, like in Surabaya, in Bandung, and in Jakarta. And the reason why I choose Denmark is I think I like the idea how government and community collaborate each other to reach their public goals. So this is my reason. And maybe in the next paper, if I want to revisit again, I will insert the Malaysia too. So thank you. I think it seems interesting too because it's near from Indonesia. Thank you.
Okay, any judges want to ask questions? We still have 2 minutes.
Yeah, thank you, Ariska, for your presentation. Here, I'd like to ask 2 questions.
Yes.
In this paper, directly you're talking about, where you're talking about the distribution of food. And you stated that the level and also the number of hunger in Indonesia is quite serious. And then you propose this solution to solve this problem. And what I'm going to ask is, are you really sure that actually the distribution of like the distribution of the hunger in Indonesia is the has the same number, because in this paper you're not specifically state about the level of hunger on some area. What I mean is, we know that the leftovers and also the excess food is often happen in the cities, but in the rural areas, I guess there is no kind of leftover and also excess food in there, and also oftenly the cases of the high level of hunger is happen in the rural areas. And how is this solution can actually solve the problem in the rural areas, because that kind of problem is not really happening there. Yes. And the second question is about the sanction that you're going to give to the small business if the customer of the restaurants excess food and also make a waste of their food, because actually this is the customer's problem, and why you should give the sanction to the business and also the restaurant, because I guess this is going to make the profit and also going to disturb the run of the business of the small business itself. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Fajar. So the first one is maybe I should I should insert the data of the total hunger in each region, like yes, and I forgot the first question. Sorry.
And sir, how is the solution that you propose can actually cover the problems of the hunger in the rural areas that actually have low level of food waste rather than the cities?
Oh yeah, so I will tell about the community that have focused in food waste reduction. So the community is distributed from the region or the area who have food, then they distribute it to area that needs food, like in rural area, like. But I think it's still a question about how if the distance are too far, because this just a solution to reduce the amount of waste in in the reduce the amount of food waste disposal and reduce hunger in. I think we can try it first in the cities, and you know that in the city too we have so many people who don't have any access to the food, like the homeless people that yes, no, I mean street children and etc. That they often take food from the landfill too. So this is the focus that I think that to the region that have fewer excess food, maybe we can do another way, like maybe we can fix the transportation, or maybe if we have access to go there in not in we accessible to access the place, so we can do it like this in the city. And for the second one, the station. So this is ever discussed in yesterday. So yesterday, Ma'am Sony said like that too, and I do believe the same way. Like, and I agree with that. So I have to change my mind from from giving a suggestion to give rewards for people who don't left their food in the restaurant. Maybe we have to think about the restaurant or a small restaurant too. Okay, I think it's enough. Yeah.
Okay, any question?
Yes, I'm very interested in your topic because I really love foods and I love to eat many kinds of food. So, respond to your presentation. I agree with Ibu Inga and also Fajar. Yeah. Uh, the reason why you choose Denmark as a comparative country to Indonesia because
Stop sebelum habis apa enggak?
Denmark and Indonesia we have different population and also different culture. And even we have different ingredients in our food. So it's also related. If you want to compare, you need to compare it with their country with similar background and situation. So you need to think again when you choose Denmark as a comparative country. Is there any device research before you regarding your topic in food waste, food security? Because as far as I know, based on my knowledge, from last year, there was a candidate that also write a paper related to the security, food waste management. Like that. That's my first question. Is there any device research related to your topic? And my second question, for the first is only a comment. So my second question, your recommendation to respond to the situation is develop
Kalau bisa, Pak.
Can you ensure that to create a regulation will tackle this situation? Why you don't just follow the campaign, so simultaneously regulation and also a campaign like get plastic? So we start from small things and hopefully we can get a bigger result. Yeah, I you to elaborate my two questions.
Thank you, Miss. So the first one, yeah, I want to say thanks about the advice. And yes, yesterday I already no, I mean I didn't know before that these topics have been presented in last year's. So I think that's because these problems is not only feel like it's problem for me, but for anyone. So yes, like that. And for the second one, why I use why I choose to develop the regulation is because I think this problems is only feels by several people who want to change and they want to reduce the food waste, but it's still individualistic. I mean, it's not everyone in here. I mean, maybe in this room who have uh, the same thing, the same perspective like me. Maybe there is there's someone who would also think that the food is my right. So I have I can do anything with my food. Like I want to eat it or not, it's my right. So why I should reduce the food waste because I already buy it gitu. So I mean, because there is not so many people who have the same perspective like us who want to sustainable in foods. I think we have to put it on the regulations so the people who don't understand or maybe they don't ever think and realize that it is a problems uh, can be do the things like we do too. I think the first one is the reason why we made this regulation is because of the
Why I say that it's not only about regulation
yes
because following that regulation, you need to ensure, you need to guarantee that the regulation need to be obeyed. So you need to enforce. So who will be supervised? And if we didn't obey the law, the regulation, what will happen? Will the police or is there any satgas like satgas food consumers like that? So you need more practical activities, not only by regulation but with the campaign, with other activities that support your idea.
and yes. So in my paper, already write that it's not only about the regulation, but we can use we can accustom the society by giving provide an information that provide understanding to the people and in my recommendations I also write that we need uh, to make like a satgas maybe to because you know that when you just have a regulation but there is no people to watch it, so the people will not obey it anyway. So I think it must be done not only on the food regulation but in another regulation because the law enforcement is really important. Yes.
Okay. Okay, we still have a 1 minute and 20 seconds plus 5 minutes addition. Okay.
So I wonder, do you think that regulation is the only way or the yeah the ultimate recommendation to solve this kind of problem?
Yes, because I think people will more obey something if it already have its regulation and distinction. So in the first one, I ever think that distinction is one of tool that we can use to make people obey with that. But I think I should find another ways to make people obey it, not obey it without any sanctions.
Okay, one point that I want to raise is that
Yes.
even though we are from the low background, doesn't mean this regulation is the only way. Yeah, it should not be. We should not push public enforcement all the time. So, but sometimes we need also private enforcement. Yeah, to solve this kind of problems. Yeah, should come up from the society first.
Yes, so I started from the society first by asking the community to collaborate with the government, and the regulation is the I think the regulation is not the first step that I do to make these actions can be done by the people. So maybe I should find another solutions for this, except by the public regulations or the sanctions. So thank you.
Okay, we still have, we're entering the additional time. Now it's 4 minutes left. Is there any judges want to ask a question? No? Please, maybe? No questions? All right, then just like before, I would like to open a question from the public. Is there anyone in this room want to ask a question? So 1, 2, 3. No. So judges, can we end the session? Okay, thank you, Ariska. Okay. The next turn. Who's the judges who will take the name? Okay, Sarah Safira, your hand up.
Sini Pak.
Iya. Apa itu? Dia belum nyari datanya.
Good morning, esteemed panel of judges, fellow panelists, and the audiences. First of all, my name is Sarah Safira Aurenisa, and I'm here to present my paper entitled Establishing Collaboration Among Civitas Academica as a Strategy to Enhance the Quality of Research, Education, and Technology Development in Indonesia. Here's my outline. There are background, research and question, and etc. From the background, Law number 17 of 2007 about the National Long-Term Development has mandated the country to create high-quality and competitive generation as one of the national development mission. In order to achieve the goal, effort of maintaining high-quality human resources development, science and technology by improved sustainable research and development agenda should be made. However, the path towards achieving this goal may not be easy, and there were several challenges. The Indonesian Global Index of Publication growth keeps growing annually. Through the number of this climbing, the quality of Indonesian research and technological development stays good. Meanwhile, research is one of the important aspects that indicate a country's development stage, and it is essential in boosting the country's economic growth. And from the data, based on the data from Saimago and the Ministry of Research, Technology and Higher Education, the growth of Indonesia globally indexed publication continues to increase every year. But however, the quantity that increase is not accompanied by a quality improvement from the result of Indonesian science and technology research and development. Moreover, Indonesian research and development face challenges in organizing long-term, centralized, and sustainable strategy, which is non-existent in this current time. This problem impacts today Indonesian research and development condition. That was repetitive, short-term, and practical research become common, resulting in inability to answer the root cause of many problems. Long-term research is needed to generate solutions in answering problems that require long-term action. Therefore, a new strategy should be made to improve the impact of research and development towards national development. In order to do that, we can start from higher education institution as academic platform by promoting research quality and credibility, just creating a well-qualified research culture that can be accurately used as a guide in answering problems and national policies. This is my research question. There are two. The first is, how is the current condition of Indonesia technological development and R&D quality? And the second is, what is the most suitable collaboration strategy among civitas academia in higher education institutions in order to improve Indonesia technological development and R&D quality? We start in my analysis. The first is about the status quo and the urgency of quality improvement in science and technology research and development in Indonesia. The Ministry of Research, Technology and Higher Education targets Indonesia highest scientific publication in South Asia in 2019. Until May 8th, in 2018, as many as more international scientific publication and surpassed Singapore, which number 800 journal, and in 2014 there were 420,000 international scientific publication, and for the first time in the last 20 years, Indonesia succeeded in surpassing the other country in Southeast Asia. Unfortunately, out of the number of scientific publications of Indonesian researchers claim to overtake its peer countries, the Ministry of Research and Higher Education, the policy, I think, is only to increase the quantity of scientific publication, but turn maybe a blind eye to the symptoms of degradation of the quality and the lack of quality and integrity of its research itself. And then the next is my idea of civitas academia collaboration strategies in higher education institutions. In these modern days, higher education institutions are expected to become ideal research and development platforms. Generally speaking, it can be concluded that Indonesia is still unable to produce strong science and technologies that can significantly support their economic growth. In order to overcome these issues, this following RUU tentang perubahan tentang sistem iptek number 18 2002. And the third is to optimizing controlling mechanism and evaluation. In order to support the improvement of the research quality and credibility, we also need to pay attention in controlling mechanism and evaluation in research work. And it's also necessary to ensure that the result of the data from the research that has been carried will be easily accessible to the public. And in conclusion, the development of quality and competitive human resources and increasing mastery and utilization of knowledge and technology can be carried out through research, development, and application toward development and innovation. The increase of the numbers in Indonesian researchers has increased, but the increase in this number has not increased with increasing quality and credibility from the result of Indonesian science and technology research and development. For this reason, a new strategy is needed to significantly increase the role of research in national development, and this can be started from the higher education institution as an academic platform by participating and prioritizing improvement not only in terms of output but also in the quality and credibility of the data and research itself. And I hope that it can be able to support optimally and appropriate for national policy formulation. Okay, I think that's all. Thank you for the attention.
You still have 1 minute and 12 seconds. Would you like waste those time? Or you want to add something?
Thank you.
Okay. So, just comments.
Okay.
Sarah, hello. I have list of questions. First, question. Because your topic is very challenging for me personally and for my master science in criminal department. So, first question. Do you know what is the ranking of our university? As a higher education, that's the first. The second, how many research you've been doing so far as a student in the bachelor program? The third, have you been heard about Vita and Pinpa? Because research is not only for bachelor student, but also for master and doctoral program. Do you know about research culture in Fhui? And do you know who is responsible for that? Maybe one of the person is there, SMT now. Okay. And the last one, how many questions? How many is? There are four. Four, so I like five. Because five is ASEAN. The last one, have you been searching about Chris Wijoyo in Google Scholar? So, yeah, you know, how many collaboration and publication that Mr. Chris Wijoyo has been doing along his profession as a lecturer and researcher in this
Yeah, there are 5 questions and I'll try to answer it. The first is about the ranking of the university. I'm not really sure, but Universitas Indonesia, yes, there's so many kind of ranking, but there are many institutions that make a ranking of university, right? And for Universitas Indonesia, I think it's the one of the most higher ranking university in Indonesia and maybe the first place in Indonesia. But I'm not really sure because actually I'm not really sure about the ranking, but I know it was great. Can I pick randomly of the second question about Mr. Chris in Google Scholar? But I didn't know yet about your publication, etc. But I'll go to find it later.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. And about question number 3 is about Vita and Vita. Well, okay. I still don't know yet. Maybe Mrs. Natalina can. Oh, okay.
Or we have the spokesperson or client.
Well, thank you for the information. And about the number 4, it's about the research culture in. Okay. Actually, maybe it's the same question that I got yesterday. It's also about the research culture, and yeah, from that question, I realized that in UI, especially in Fakultas Hukum UI, the culture I think it's really good. Hopefully really good. In my environment, I think it's increasing annually and also really good. regarding of the research culture, but the goals that I want to told from my paper is it's not only by this university or by this faculty, but also in the higher education institution in Indonesia. And I believe by improving and also creating a new strategy to improve our quality of research, it can impact from in our national development goals. And it's not only in this faculty, but also in other higher education institutions in Indonesia. And for the question number 2 is, how many research that I did as a student? I do the research maybe for the competition, several competition that I've been joined. If I can count, maybe 6 or 7. But yeah, I realized that it's not a whole comprehensive research. But yeah, at least I try to do a research at myself and with my team, of course. Yeah. Okay, thank you for the question.
Any more questions from the judges? All right.
Putar.
Okay, thank you, Sarah. Thank you for your achievement and today's presentation. Actually, the topic is quite provocative for me because I'm responsible for research affairs in this faculty of law, and because Ibn Atalina mentions about that we ever doing research and in which topic and so on and so forth. So my question is, actually, we have something serious problem in faculty of law because there are 14 faculties and schools all over UI, from the first one, medical and or medicine, until School of Environment, School of Global Studies in Salemba. And for the law, among the lowest in the number of research, not the lowest one, but among the lowest compared to faculty of medicine, faculty of natural sciences, faculty of engineering, faculty of computer science. On the other hand, we have a lot of problems in legal field, a lot of problems in legal fields and social affairs in this country that people expect a lot from us as a scholar, as a researcher from UI. Benar asking about the rank of UI, and I'm happy to say we are the first according to QS World Ranking. We occupied number 297 in QS World Ranking. It's really the best one in Indonesia, and according to also Times Higher Education, also the best one. However, not in faculty of law. I'm not to say that we are not really in good standing in terms of research, but the number of research conducted by our scholar, by our researcher, and by our academic it's not that high compared to other faculties. So, what is your impression? Because you have studied here for how long? Are you coming from the batch of 2015 or 16, right? 16. Or for the last 3 years, you've been studying here. What is your impressions about the research conducted by students? Because Ibu Lina mentioned about, have you ever conducted research in Makita, whatever, and what is your impression and what is your suggestion? And how to improve the research atmosphere in this faculty, also in UI, because it seems to me that legal scholars tend to be a bit lazy, not really have a good courage to do research. So they prefer to be a lawyer, but even a lawyer must do doing research, and some scholars, some prefer to be like experts, saksi ahli before the court, rather than being as a researcher. So, what's your impression, and then your suggestion and your recommendation, and also for the students in respect of how to improve the quality of research and the number of research conducted by the student and as well as by the faculty member. Thank you.
Thank you for the question. Okay. About my impression towards the research cultures in Faculty of Law among the students, yeah, I also realized that the research culture among the students is still low. See it from my friends, and the most active, maybe the most active that doing the research is the one who joined several competition. I believe my friends here are also doing the research too, but that can be a solution to improve the research atmosphere. I think the students right now, especially in Faculty of Law, should improve the atmosphere of competitive, maybe to join several competition, and also I also realized that we know about the program Kreativitas Mahasiswa, right? It's called PKM, and Faculty of Law is, yeah, it's like of interest in PKM, and yeah, maybe we should try to improve it by optimizing from the lecturer, from the student itself, and it also needed support from maybe the student body organization, etc. As the organization that, yeah, what is it? That conducted PKM itself. And for the conclusion, to improve the research atmosphere is, my suggestion is to gain more attention from the student to join several competitions, so they were pushed to do research itself. That's maybe one of the solutions that I can give it right now, because I also believe that doing a research and also writing skill is important skills that the legal scholar should be have. Thank you.
Sorry, just Mas Ade, just Alex. Okay, you mentioned about competition, doing competition and working for competition. So you mentioned about it's like competition-driven research. So the aim is, the main goal is to do research because you are going to go for a competition. Well, what about the PKM? Why PKM is another competition, but the interest is very low. The interest, the courage of the student compared to the faculty of engineering, especially the department of chemical engineering, and kimia is very high. So why? My question: why PKM also a competition and quite challenging, because competition PKM is conducted by Minister of Higher Education and very prominent competition, but the interest or the courage to join it is very low. So we think what happened with PKM, with our attention to PKM, actually for student of faculty of law. Some people say that because the amount of money is not that interesting, just around 15 million rupiah or even lower. But you need to fill out many documents, but the appreciation is very low. In the term of money is very low. And so instead of money, what's the problem with PKM? And have you joined or have you participated in any PKM research or not?
Okay. My opinion is, first, I will answer the question about my participation in PKM. I was joining PKM, but just in level of faculty. It was 2018, I think. And about why is PKM have a lack of interest among our students in Faculty of Law? Maybe because we think the students think that the sectors of the PKM itself, it just can be conducted well by a student from the Faculty of Engineering or maybe Fasilkom, because maybe from the student in Faculty of Engineering and Fasilkom can make prototype or some other equipments that can it also can include in PKM itself. So I think it's about the mindset from the students that seeing PKM just maybe it can be doing great by the Faculty of Engineering and Fasilkom. But in my opinion itself, actually the student from the Faculty of Law still can doing a competitive competition in PKM, and it's not something that can be just put it on and actually you can go through PKM.
Okay, we still have 4 minutes from the main time and the additional 5 minutes. And you can just like to ask question.
Okay, thank you. I read from your paper, the initial question 1, that you encourage that we should have the internal regulation to enhance the research collaboration between lecturer and students. Again, my point is, why should we have those kind of regulations? Yeah. And what do you mean by the regulation? And how do you think that it will succeed to achieve what you are mentioning by research collaboration here? I don't think we do need such kind of regulation. Do you mean that we should punish or give sanction to those who want to collaborate with the students? Okay, could you, and another point is that regarding the bills on the
clear aja. Pas udah satu. Satu ini yang 20 kan?
Ya udah. The bills that you said that you think will help us to or enhance this collaborations, strategic collaboration between the civitas academica. And related with your paper here, I think it's too broad, especially when you're talking about the tech, science, and technology. And well, I don't mean to underestimate you, but we are from a legal background, faculty. I don't think you have the data on and the existing problem on how we develop the technology. And another question that I have you interviewed at least the vice rector and innovation here in Indonesia, and what her opinion and maybe the problems existing in uni and the plan that to resolve this kind of problem. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, the first is about why should we need an internal regulation to optimizing the research and development sector. Actually, my opinion is the quality and research of the research process are supported by not only the individuals that do it itself, but maybe also from their environment and the law that regulated the process. So I think if we want to improve our R&D quality, we have to not only look out from the responsible individuals, but also by maybe from the regulation instrument in both institutional level and in national level. Maybe it also about RUU Sismas Impact, which part can enhance which part can enhance the quality of research process. Because from my research, the recent law is in 2002, and it was 17 years past. And I think the research and development also, the technology sector was growing so fast this year. We also heard about maybe revolution industry and so on. And I believe in the new laws, the new RUU, there are several things, several sectors that can support the improvement, maybe from the juridical normatives or maybe from the process, and etc. And about the interview, I didn't do it yet because the lack of the time of making this paper. So I just see from some articles and from and maybe from the website of Kemenristek Dikti and so on. So for the interview, I didn't do it. Thank you.
Okay, we still have 3 minutes 40 seconds for the additional time. Any tips want to ask?
I just have one short question. What in your opinion, what do you think about research? Is it substance, legal substance research, or it's kind of empirical research? If you talk about research in a legal perspective. Thank you.
In my opinion, I see research as not only from legal research, but also in any other sector and some substance, like scientific research, or maybe that connected by another faculty in University Indonesia especially. So it also concluded about the technology development and etc. So it's not just a legal research that I was supposed to do, and we have supposed to improve and optimizing in this paper.
Okay, we still have 2 minutes and 8 seconds. Any of the judges want to ask a question or give suggestions or comments towards the finalists? No? Okay, there's no question from the judges. I would like to open the question session to the public. Is there anyone in this room present want to give a questions to the finalists? No? Okay. The judges, can I end the session? Okay. Thank you, Sarah. Okay. We would like to continue on the next presentation. So, any representative that just want to take the name of the visual. Jihan Amalia, please come forward.
Segini kali ya? Kurang. Ini ntar. Hah?
Good afternoon to, sorry. Good morning to our judges and my fellow finalists, ladies and gentlemen. I'm here to present my paper on the establishment of sexual violence crisis center in campus to create a safe educational space in Asia. As I have presented my paper before, these are the 3 points that the judges have, and so before I begin, I would like to make it clear that I'm using the sexual violence definition from the World Health Organization as stated in my paper because of the non-existent definition in English law. Also, the scope of what I address as sexual violence is that of Komnas Perempuan, also stated in my paper. And as for the fair trial, it is to be understood that the crisis center is not a trial. It is to accommodate what victims need, and if criminal charge is what they want, they're doing it according to how it works in the law system. When reporting, what a victim wants is for the justice to be served, but that is not what Agni had when she reported her case. And also, it is not for a student named Heidi in relation to rape case. Sexual violence is an iceberg phenomenon for how underreported it is. However, I found some relevant numbers. One is from Komnas Perempuan, the yearly report, where there were 12 cases happening last year. And also one is from our student body. 28, where there are 21 who admitted to have experienced sexual violence. While it can happen anywhere, many studies focus on the prevalence of sexual violence in campus for a reason. Higher as students are of the same age of the majority of rape victims and perpetrators, but it goes unreported, and that is not the victim's fault. Embarrassment, fear, or retaliation, being blamed or not believed, and financial dependency are some barriers for not reporting to the authority. This condition has its own implications, aside of having the perpetrators not punished or the victims justice denied. The low accuracy data it resulted makes it difficult for the policymakers to see that sexual violence is an urgent matter. Considering the urgency, I would like to. I found 2 problems to be addressed in my paper. One is how is the regulation relating to sexual violence in Indonesia, and second, how is the right way to counter sexual violence in higher education institutions in Indonesia. Until now, Indonesia has yet a unified law on sexual violence. We have several sexual violence offenses in the criminal code. While the criminal code procedure doesn't have one specific procedural law, we have one recently from the Supreme Court, Regulation Number 3, year 2017. And as for the rest, we have the laws sporadically. For example, the law on the elimination of domestic violence. While we do have a regulation on preventing and overcoming in the lower educational level, we don't have one for the higher education. And this, I believe, will hinder our efforts in achieving our nation's dream and the Sustainable Development Goals number 4, quality education, and number 16, peace, justice, and strong institution. And so, considering the urgency, I would like to propose a campus sexual violence crisis center to provide prevention and overcoming sexual violence cases in higher education institutions. The preventive measures include a method called the Bystander Intervention Program and a series of campaigns. Bystander intervention, by its name, is a method meant to equip participants to happen, who happens to be a bystander with the preventive measures on to prevent an ongoing or a potential sexual violence. There are 4 stages in which a bystander the bystander can concur with intervention on potential sexual violence situations. Firstly is to notice the situation, and then to identify that the state situation is a problem, then to ignite the sense of responsibility to intervene in such situation, and last, to intervene. Wherein the series of campaigns, it is meant to raise public awareness about sexual violence. The findings from the research done by Walsh and partners in Fhui and exhibits that the main reason why sexual violence crisis centers are not being harnessed after a victim came in contact with the form of sexual violence is because the violence itself is not seen as something significant to report, and that because such experience is inherently regarded as a private matter. The campaign's objective is to reform this paradigm, for example, through workshops and infographic distribution. Next, countermeasures to overcome a case is schematized in the order of report, assessment, and resolution. The center will have its own professional staff, which will be built by advocates and psychologists to provide mental assistance, whereas the advocates provide the legal assistance. The professional staff will be built by with victims' perspective and works with the victims' well-being. Report of sexual violence to the 24-hour hotline will be assessed by the professional staff, which output will be in the form of an opinion, both from the legal and medical perspective. The opinion will then be delivered for the victims for them to decide which action and counter they would like to pursue. And lastly, the resolution will be produced on the victim's decision, either it will be legal, psychological, or actions. Legal assistance by an advocate is proven to have a significant role in countering sexual violence, whereas psychological support is not of less importance because most sexual violence survivors tend to experience pressures revictimization once they pursue legal proceedings. Lastly is the idea to institutionalize sexual violence crisis center. I'm putting government ordinance number 4/2014 into consideration. The ordinance states that the facility harnessing management is an autonomy bestowed upon higher education institution. Therefore, crisis center establishment is within the institution's authority. In the absence of integrated regulation regarding to sexual violence, prevention and overcoming and countermeasure in higher education institution, in my opinion, it would be crucial to have a permanent activity to regulate preventions and countermeasures in higher education institutions. The regulation will be an operational guideline to stabilize sexual violence crisis center campus. Based on the discussion, I would like to propose 2 recommendations, which are 1, for government authority to formulate a regulation regarding preventive and countermeasure actions to overcome sexual violence in higher education institutions, and secondly, to make sexual violence crisis center in every higher education institution ground in Indonesia mandatory. Maya Angelou, the famed poet, activist, and sexual violence survivor, says you may not control all the events that happen to you, but you can decide not to be accused by them. When a victim of sexual violence decided to come forward with their stories and report, their bravery and resolve have to be well facilitated by adequate mechanism to ensure their access to justice. Law has to be made in order to meet what the people need. Sexual violence crisis center can be an answer to prevent and counter sexual violence in higher education institution. With this establishment of one in every college in Indonesia, we are one step closer in creating a conducive and safe environment for the students to flourish. Thank you for your attention. Should there be questions and suggestions, it will be very welcome as it helped my idea in developing the idea. Thank you very much for your attention.
Okay. And can you still have 15 seconds? You would like to exercise the right or wait? Okay. Okay, 20 minutes duration for the judge's question and answer. Any comments from the judge?
I was asking my colleague Jihan why he's going to mention the first person, maybe because of the lecture of the victimology course, I think. So, Jihan, I would like to thank you because you have a concern on rights and you have idea to develop, to create a crisis center, victim of sexual assault. And please remember that the victim is not only women, also men. Here, the victim is not only women, but also men, and only student, but also lecturer, all the civic class academic. Yeah. Jihan, how long have you doing this research? Is it only for this competition, or you have your own concern about the issue? That's my first question. The next question, is there any best practice data in other university or other faculty? And then you created or develop a center for victim of sexual violence in the campus. And the next one, hopefully the last one, have you heard about button platform developed by UPE? Have you tried? Sorry. Because we have that one. Please correct if I'm wrong. So I need your comment and your answer.
Thank you for the questions. For the first question, I made the paper in around 3 to 5 days. I can't remember precisely, but yes, I have been involved in the issue for like the last 2 years since I joined the student body. To the second question, the best practice of crisis center, I have never heard one from that is based in Indonesia, but I have found that this is already practiced in several countries. Crisis center specialized for the sexual violence victims. One of them is in the National University of Singapore. One is from Harvard, where they have the similar procedure for when a victim before their cases they have the hotline and they have a professional staff to conduct the report. There's also the as I mentioned before in my program, there is the bystander prevention program. It is also being done in countries one of the best practice is by Green Dot in America, but it is not integrated with the crisis center. So I thought when I made the paper, I thought of combining the program to the crisis center for effective matter. And also for the third question, I have to admit that I've never heard of anybody that is of Uli. But I think that when we are talking about sexual violence, we're talking about special case because the fact that it goes underreported and that the reasons behind it, as proven by studies, is that we are not reported because they are embarrassed. They are afraid of being victimized, of being blamed, and so on. And so, when you want to counter sexual violence in campus, you have to build this one body, this one institution, organization that really understand the urgency of sexual violence. Thank you.
Hello, Gina. As for me, that you have an interest with these topics because many people tend to ignore violence, sexual violence issues because it's too complex, and also you can have many questions about how, why, and is it true that she or he have the violence? Okay, but I don't want to discuss about the sexual violence itself, but if you are the part of the task force, who will gain? Who will negotiate with the Fhui, with the university, to build a crisis center here? And the rector already said that, well, if you want to have crisis center here, you should spend a lot of financial things because, as we know, the facilities for crisis center is not cheap. You need a close place to make the victim feel safe, and also you need the facility for psychologist treatment, also for the medical treatment and so on. And also the rector will say that, well, as I know, the sexual violence connected with the morality of the victims. So, is it true that he or she have the violence against her or him? How can you prove it? And the third argumentation is, okay, perhaps we can build the crisis center, but who will manage the crisis center? Do the lecturer want to be a part of it? Because it will be spend a lot of time, energies, as we do at our department right now. So, what kind of arguments that you will build in front of the rector? Thank you.
Okay, thank you for the question. As for the situation number one, if the rector say no, because it will burden the financial budget, if we see that the prevalence of sexual violence on campus and know that it is an urgent matter, because when we're talking about quality education, we're not just talking about making people go to study in universities. We also want to ensure their safety and how comfortable they are when studying. So I don't see that if we think that it is an important matter, financial burden is not an issue. But if they do see that it is not important, that is why I urge to make a regulation for members stability, because we actually have one for the lower educational threshold. Ferment put in year 2015, if I'm not wrong. In that regulation, they already have these policies that are regarded, and so if there is one regulation that really regulates on how to prevent and on how to overcome sexual offenses, sexual violence, then I think this will answer the question, because then it is already a mandatory rule for the higher education level to build. And so for the situation number 2, if they do think that we can make a crisis center, but we will conduct the crisis center with the lecturers. While making my paper, I thought that yes, it would be difficult if the lecturers are the ones who's in charge, because they have to teach in the class, and so I think that we have to have professional staff. If one institution think that they cannot make the lecturers in charge of the institution, then the crisis center, and then we have to hire professional staff filled by advocates and psychologists. Well, the proof. Okay, so yes, the morality of the victim is a common problem, because, well, we don't have this unified law that define what sexual violence is and what kinds of actions that institute sexual violence, and that is what is I think that's the core of the problem. Well, we do have the bill of the elimination of sexual violence that is not yet being passed. I think that again, if we have this one permanent technique that make violence in general, including sexual violence, we will we don't. They can make these they can see that the morality of the victim is to be questioned, because the core because the regulation then would protect the victims by forcing the institution to accommodate the victims. That's what I.
Okay, Miss.
Okay, thank you. Do you know the situation in our university? I mean, do we have such kind of? I do know that we have crisis center at the psychology faculty. Yeah, you can walk from here. Yeah, Okay, and also we do have what we call pusat bimbingan konseling mahasiswa, yeah. And also as Bu Lina mentioned, we do have button emergency call. And do you think we do? Yeah. Will your suggestions for this crisis center will overlap with the existing center or that we already have? And the point is that the director actually he wants us to have single institutions, yeah. So whatever happening in here at the university, we don't do well whether this is under the authority of PLK, sorry, or PKM. Yeah, it's better for us to have one single authority and one services. What do you? Well, yeah. Can you give your comment on this?
Okay, so for the first question, for a facility that specially conduct as a crisis center for sexual violence, we don't have one. I do know one that, but it is not integrated to the campus. It is still run by the students. While we do have facility like PKL, I still think that we need to make this one crisis center for sexual violence, because when a victim reports, sometimes what they want is not only to be heard, and sometimes when they report, they don't want to make charges, and that is why if we make one crisis center, we can actually provide a better service for them.
They have
Well, we do have better counseling, but we do have one better counseling, but as what I've researched, from the student body, they have this survey to 177 respondents, and they found that there are 21 who experienced 39 normal case, but 11 ghosts reported. This proves that reporting sexual violence in campus is not an easy matter, and that is in linear to the studies that have been conducted overseas. And so I still think that making this one crisis center for sexual violence is relevant.
Responding again, I do realize, myself realize that it's not, as you said, it's not a really easy task for us, not easy situation, because we learn from our experience ourselves. We have the case, and also in other university in UGM, raising cases. And also after that, we also have that one student issue, in fact, law. So I do realize that you have your own concern, and also respond with your research. I can suggest one thing that we need to make it integrated sexual violence center. So together with the Badan counseling, expert from psychology, expert from from the faculty of law and even the medical doctor.
Also.
We have our own
Also
hospital here, so we can make it strength, activity, strength institution, a body that can handle this problem. So maybe we don't have to develop the new one, conduct the new one, but we can integrate within faculty and institutions, small institution in our faculty here. Start from faculty of law because we know that egg is prohibited by law. That person can be. I just adding to Ibu Natalina. From 2014 until now, we have researched in 3 countries, Timor-Leste, Malaysia, and also Thailand. And we found that they have a very good crisis center. The crisis center actually, they put the crisis center at the hospital, the big hospital. But when the victim comes to the hospital, they don't need to have the clinic, but they go straight to the crisis center, and after they get visum, they get physical examination, the psychologist and also the police wait there, and until the physical examination are ready, the results are ready. So the victim doesn't have to report again to the police, and it helps reduce the trauma, and also cut the process. I think one thing that we should have here is a kind of one-stop crisis center here.
You want to add? No? You want to answer?
Yes, reply. Concerning that there's already we have sources, we have the human resources. So when talking about institutionalizing this crisis center, I don't mean we have to build this one building. I'm talking about institution where there is an where it organizes the sexual violence cases and that is reported in the campus. And so if one university thinks that the human resources that we have is sufficient, that well they can make the professional staff that fill in the positions in the crisis center to work in the crisis center. And so, as for the faculty of law, from what I've known, is that we don't have, we do have Al-Kabiha, but we don't have these procedural rules that we don't have these procedural rules that would make interconnected services that is from one that is from faculty of law and then as faculty of psychology and also to the other faculties that would be needed by the victims. And so when I'm talking about a crisis center, yes, I agree with you that we can use the sources from within the universities if we can. That's one.
You know that we have the legal uniform.
Yes.
We still have 1 minute and 25 seconds. Any additional? Okay, Pak.
No, offender. Okay, thank you for your presentation, Jihan. My question is, So you have a intention or proposal, let's say, to create a crisis center inside or within the university. My question is, what is the more important? Whether we need to create like awareness or education for academic atmosphere here, not just for the student but also the lecturer or the administrative of the campus, or only to create a center. Which one is more important? Because there's this problem with our higher education is the awareness to respect each other, to respect the integrity of the people and the private things of the people. And so instead of creating a center, or do you think creating awareness or education, or like creating a system or mechanism to respect each other, or even to report to the proper mechanism, proper is important or not? Which one is more important? Is both of them or just a center? Center without awareness, it also is not really important. What do you think? Sorry?
I think that which is one more important, having one crisis center or raising awareness regarding sexual violence. I think that both are important, and that is why when making this sexual violence crisis center in my paper, I make the prevention and overcoming waste in the crisis center. And so when you want to raise awareness, well, yeah, the crisis center can provide that. It's not run by the professional staff as they do the works on overcoming the sexual violence reports on campus. It can be done by the students who want to join in raising awareness of sexual violence. Thank you.
Okay, the applause to Jihan. So we're now 11:37. So is it okay for the last one more? Okay, one more for the first session. Okay, who's going to take the lead?
Yes.
Okay, yes. Your turn. Give a close to yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, and our honorable judges. My name is Yandia Serega. I am from Faculty of Law, University of Indonesia, batch 2016. And for the next 10 minutes, I will deliver my presentation concerning access to a high quality of information, and specifically talks about the role of social media in delivering these impartial information. And in this presentation, I would acknowledge that there exists an equal concern regarding information's quality in regards to hoax or fake news. But that is not the crux of this presentation, because I can see that this discussion concerning hoax and fake news is already substantial. However, in regards to impartial information, it is not within the spotlight to see the equal spotlight equals to fake news as well as hoax, and hence the discussion in this presentation will concern solely on impartial information and how social media exacerbates the delivery of that information. And to proceed, this will be the presentation outline of my presentation. Firstly, I will talk about the social media companies' role in the dissemination of information to public. But second, I will talk about the exacerbation of impartial information. Thirdly, I will talk about the implications of receiving an impartial information. Fourthly, I will talk about the legal solution and how there is a regulatory vacuum in regards to managing information to the society. And lastly, I will talk about the sustainable development goals, which is the theme of today's presentation. And to note, some of the information in my presentation is not portrayed in my paper, because there is a constraint of pages that I can write. And hence, I'd like to invite this audience to pay attention on the presentation. So the subject of today's presentation would solely be media companies. I will talk about Facebook, I'll talk about giant companies, for example, Google. But why is this though? This is because there already exists a shift of function in the existence of these social media companies. At first, it is only a means for us to communicate to other individuals who we deem as friends, for example. But it already expands these. It now provides us the means to distributing informations, just like other conventional media masses, including newspaper. We're talking about how Facebook right now, as well as Line, for example, provides us with news regarding politics, and other types of social media companies providing us with contents that delivers information. But what is exactly the problem, right? Now, bear in mind that the social media companies hold huge power in shaping what type of information society receives. What I see is that the problem is that on how social media delivers these information to society. This is because the algorithms that social media uses are algorithms that already filters information to each user. So the information that I receive, or all the audiences receives, is already tailored or arranged. It's not coincident that I receive news that I like, for example, or about the political leniency that I already have stance on. Hence, but how exactly does the social media algorithm works? We are obviously aware about how privacy is being retained by huge social media companies, including Facebook. Things like your personal identity, your locations, even things that you press or like on the internet is all being traced by social media companies. But why would they do so? The reason being, audiences, is because after gathering these informations, the system will evaluate and then assess what precisely does that user likes. And after that conclusions, this is called as big data. And then after having the conclusion, they will deliver content based on the interests that they have concluded. But why is this precisely a problematic thing? The reason being, just as a case elucidation, so for example, individual X in a social media G, for example, it has a behavior that the individual X indicated that X likes welfare issues. And during the election time, the internet behavior has shown that X had a certain leniency to candidate A. Most likely, the type of feeds in the timeline of the social media G that X has is only about candidate A. Like how good is candidate A, for example. It's only information that strengthen the bias or the preconceived stance that individual X previously had. But compare this to another hypothetical scenario, where, for example, an individual Y in social media G as well, he or she could be described as religious, and then during the election, individual Y has a certain leniency to candidate B. Most likely, the timeline or the news being provided to that individual are only about candidate B and how good candidate B is. For example, candidate B happens to be a religious leader, but they are not exposed to other news regarding the election holistically. This is exactly where I sense the problem. That information received by users are informations that users are interested to hear, but not the users actually need. Hence, this can be described as information that only strengthens the preconceived bias of each users that they already are ascribed or adhered to. And this is exactly the phenomenon that numerous scholars consider as filter bubble, where individuals are trapped in one side of the story but cannot see an event in its holistic manner. This is going to be related to two types of information retriever. The first, the ideal retriever, are the one actively seeking for various informations and are open to challenging their stance. This is the ideal type that society should be like. However, there are the opposite to this ideal category of society. That is, the one that only relies to information being displayed on their social media, and hence they cannot challenge their stance without the assistance of others, including their social medias, and that this media social algorithm exacerbates their preconceived bias and does not open them to numerous other informations that they need to understand. Sadly, the first category is very highly limited. It's considered as information privilege, where most likely it is dominated by those who already attend higher educations, for example. But most in our society falls to the second category, which is not the ideal. And hence, majority of the society cannot challenge their view, and that media exacerbates this inability of the society. And hence, it delivers an impartial information that I, in this presentation, consider have two implications that are key. The first implication, this is not the worst case scenario, this is the best case possible, but why still bad? Because it will affect the decision making of individuals in the society. This is because information in itself is a tool to create a decision. It helps to portray the consequences of a certain decision, and hence society relies on the information they have before they take a certain decision. Hence, without the existence of impartial information, the decision that society most likely takes based on what the information they receive on the social media will not be a fully informed decision. This could be taken by this, for example, in cases of political candidates, where individuals are not open to, for example, the bad side of one candidate. They only could see the good side of one political candidate because of the media social algorithm. But the brief of the second implication is intolerance within the society. Individuals who constantly receive information that strengthen their preconceived bias will not be able to rationalize the opposing view other than their stance. This is because they always think that their preconceived bias are the one that is correct, because the amount of substantial information they receive regarding that. And hence, it needs to be catered, but sadly there exists a regulatory vacuum in Indonesia concerning how the information is delivered. The closest law regarding that would be the UU ITE. However, even inside UU ITE itself, it does not talk about how information could be delivered. And hence, in my proposal, there needs to be at least a law that at least caters to these concerns. For example, and as I read, legal entities in the field of information dissemination to public not to filter information with the basis of strength, preconceived bias or stance on matters, including politics. We think this type of regulations would be able to cater to these media social companies' preconceived bias exacerbation, and hence it will therefore then allow us to achieve sustainable goals number 9, which talks about technology information. And it was in the 9.C, it was stated that it is also one of the goals to disseminate an impartial information to the society, and hence that concludes the presentation today. Thank you.
Yes. clubs, but are the judges willing to give opportunities for Anandias for 1 minute addition for his conclusion and suggestion? Is it okay? Additional 1 minute for the conclusion and suggestions? The judges? Okay. Alright. 1 menit.
1 menit.
Oh, ya. 1 menit.
All right, thank you so much for the additional time. And to proceed, the conclusion towards this presentation, there are 3 points. That firstly, social media companies' algorithm specifically exacerbates users' current stance or preconceived bias, and hence makes them unable to challenge their existing stance. But secondly, that there exists a regulatory vacuum in managing information dissemination throughout society, which then hence allows companies or social media companies, to be precise, to specifically exploit these second category of individuals that are unable to ideally assess information existing inside media companies. But lastly, there needs to be regulation in accordance with Sustainable Development Goals, which I propose 2 alternatives. Which one is to revise the current law, but second is to make specific regulation concerning social media, just like in Europe. Thank you.
Now we're going to have 20 minutes duration for question and answer session. The judges, please feel free to ask question or comments. Any of the judges?
Yeah.
Yes, that's fine.
Yes.
I'll go talk this fine as well.
Yes. You present a very up-to-date issue that our society now face about the importance or the influence of social media in our daily life, especially related to the political landscape of the political education for the people. As now, in the past, we learn information from television, right? And the government control it, and it's part of the education by the government. But currently, we all can access through the social media, and we get information which is, like you say, that the algorithm is according to the preference of the individual. And the problem that you present, that this kind of algorithm will enhance the bias. Okay. But what I want to ask you is, because the social media machine that we know is basically for business, right? For business-oriented goal. Like, if you like to see expenses watches, and then it will appear another expenses watches. That's how the business will work. Like, they will push what you really like. But and then in the political world, when you like a candidate, and then you will see the same candidate, it will just enhance the bias. And my question is, you say in the conclusion that there should be some regulation. Regulatory action. My question is, how do you think the state, the regulation of the state, can intervene some social media company, which is almost all of them are not in Indonesia? Yeah, so the first thing. And how they work, the system is based on the business approach. And because of this business approach, that's the first question. And the second question is, because the business approach is like I tell you that they push what the consumer will like, but it will create biases for the political education. How do you think you can find the meeting point between the interests of the business and how to educate people about the bias, because we cannot make in policy, public policy, we cannot make policy or regulation without putting some consideration, real consideration about the economy, especially economy consequence of the policy. I think that's the two questions that I want to get information from you, Mr. Yes, thank you.
First of all, thank you for the question. So I see that there are two questions. Then to clarify, the first question is about how could the state intervene to social media companies, especially those outside the state. And the second, where we find a line between information that requires this personalized feature and which one is not. First of all, for answering the questions, I very much see the concern that in some aspects of internet, these features that exacerbates what the users like might be good, especially in regards of business, especially in regards of online shopping. And I will not dispute about that. And that is exactly also why in my regulations that I've proposed previously, I specifically mentioned that it is in the field of politics, or it could be expanded to social, for example, to not exacerbate racism, for example. And relating to the second, this will relate to the answer to the second question. The fine line would be, for so long that this is a business or commercial interest, where it is not within the public sphere, that already includes, for example, choosing a political candidate that can affect a huge amount of society. I personally think that is the fair line. So this also applies to things, for example, social cohesion within the society, where things like racism, news about racism shall not be instituted towards individuals who have political leniencies that might be, for example, a far right, for example. They need to be exposed to many other information that does not exacerbate things that can propagate racism, for example. But in the sphere that concerns private activity, for example, I like buying football shoes, for example, that does not affect other individuals, that does not affect the public sphere as a whole. And hence, I personally think that that's where the line should be, for so long that the sphere could be dictated as in political or social. That's where social media companies cannot exacerbate this need. And hence, the personalized feature or this social media companies feature shall be regulated as to only be limited in private sphere only. But concerning to the first question on how we can interfere to companies that are outside the state, for example, I think this is actually an issue that was pretty hard in my presentation, and I do acknowledge that I encountered problems in facing in answering this. However, I personally think that since media social companies who have incorporated their companies inside Indonesia, for example, I think obviously Facebook has their own headquarters in Indonesia as well. Especially that censorship applies domestically within a state. I think we can still regulate companies that, especially information, how social media companies intervene only within the domestic sphere of Indonesia. Through, for example, regulating the companies in which they are already incorporated in Indonesia, for example, or things like even censorship in regards to information being delivered by television who have headquarters outside Indonesia is possible. So I think personally that similarly it could also be applied in regards to social media companies, although most of them have the main headquarters outside Indonesia. It doesn't satisfy your concern now?
Yeah. You know, sometimes the government can just take down some feature, which is against what we call public. Sometimes the government just take down, ask the company to take down. But my question is, how can the government influence the system? Because as I tell you, the system of the business pushing something that's according to the preference of the consumer is an inherent system of the application of the like Facebook or Instagram. And if I like a picture of pollution, it will just pop up the same pollution. I will not see another argument from the other side. You know? But it's in the system. It's in the system in I don't know in another country. But if you ask the government, the government can just ask for the takedown. I heard some posts is being taken down by the application, but is it possible to influence the inherent system? I think that's still the question.
In regards to taking down a certain post, that will concern the question of censorship.
Yes.
And in regards to censorship, I personally think that obviously government can do so, but the problem is not what types of information that could be censored or not, but it's more about how social medias deliver an impartial information. So that means that even if we take down some pictures, it does not necessarily negate the system that is impartial. Hence, in my proposal and in my submission in this presentation, it is not censorship that we need to rely upon, but rather we need to indeed change the inherent system that social media companies operate in. And I think personally that social media companies in each state in which they already incorporate their companies have a certain autonomy that will adjust to the regulation existing to the state. For example, maybe the regulation in the companies of Facebook here will be different to companies of Facebook, the headquarters of Facebook in the United States, for example, because especially information relates to public, sometimes related to public sphere. And hence, I personally think that it is still possible that the inherent system, domestically at least in Indonesia, is changed. But it would be, and this also could be evinced in numerous other states. For example, in Europe, they already tried to regulate the social media, and there is currently an ongoing regulatory act to regulate how social media operates in not filtering information that only strengthens their preconceived bias. Hence, I still personally think that the regulations within the scope of Indonesia can target these companies within Indonesia to adjust their social algorithm with what Indonesia thinks is best. And it would be much better, and I think there has been discussions worldwide, that the social media algorithm revolution should apply universally, because the problem of impartial information is not only within Indonesia, but also outside Indonesia. But at least Indonesia should have a regulation that specifically manages this towards the users, at least in Indonesia.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, so this one off.
Thank you just for your presentation. Regarding to your topic, as we know about the system called search engine optimization (SEO) that been used by content writer in Indonesia to make their content basing for all the sites in Indonesia. So in the SEO search engine optimization, they put some keywords that is trending right now, and then by the keywords they have that actually many people can read that article, and then by this system, it makes that many society and also many content writers going to write more content about their keywords in the social media. And for that kind of system, I think that actually, and also do you think that journalists and also people also take part of this problem of the algorithm? Because I guess from the baseline, it's not also about the algorithm, but also from society. They actually upload it and also write the from the baseline, they're writing only the one side, not on the equal side from the other side. So what do you think about this kind of problem, and also about the data from the baseline that actually have not equal from the beginning? And for the second one, about the regulation personalized feature, what is actually your parameter that is you're going to set that Indonesia are going to have an universal data and not going to be an impartial data that will be received by our society? Thank you.
Thank you, Kajar, for the question. if I may clarify, there are two questions. The first one regarding how other parts of the society also face in making these information impartial, and second, about what is the parameter of impartiality. Addressing the first question first, concerning how other stakeholders also matter. In my presentation, indeed, I did not talk about other stakeholders, but I can see that this problem of impartial information, it requires other factors too that has to be taken into account. Even society and how the users assess the data would definitely play in how they accept or retrieve a certain information. And same with journalists. So not exploit this by continuously giving news that left left journalists in political spectrum writes about. They need to also be exposed to journalists that are, for example, right in political spectrum in order to understand all the information that existed, in order for them to understand the consequences of what a certain political leniency could give them. And hence, thank you so much for the input. But the thing that I would like to emphasize is that although there are other social factors, social media companies place a huge factor in delivering these types of information, although journalists or some part of the society is impartial. But going to the second question regarding the impartiality, what is the parameter of impartiality, right? In my opinion, and I did not specifically elucidate it in my paper because there is a constraint of pages, I personally think that the parameter of impartiality would definitely be one that the information being delivered are only the good side of a certain event, for example. For example, candidate A, only the news regarding how good he is, but not the bad side of that thing, that would be constituted as what is impartial. Actually, based on my research towards my mother, so I saw her social media timeline, and it's always feeded with one political candidate, but not the other, and it's always the good side of that political candidate. Every time I talk to my mom, you have to see the other side of the story, and she said, no, this is the one that is correct because this comes out in my timeline. That is exactly the impartiality that I'm talking about, and hence that elucidation in itself, I think, already gives context that one of the major constitutive factor would be information that just be tailored towards your preconceived bias, and social media companies should refrain from doing that. If that answers the question, thank you.
We still have 3 minutes and 5 minutes additional time.
I just want to comment about your method.
Alright.
I think it's also for everybody here. Please don't. If you are not sure what kind of method that you will use for your research or for your thesis, don't mention juridical normative, but just explain that the steps that you use to collect data and also to analyze the rules or what kind of act that you have in your research. I think it's proper enough. Yeah. Okay,
thank you so much.
May I, please?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, you may. Yeah. Is that the same when the mother only received information that she or her friend likes?
Masih ngomong.
Tambahin dulu.
You can answer that later on. My question, basically my question is, did you mean that you need to ask responsibility for the social media netizen, like me, for example, to prevent negative impact as a response to freedom of my expression. Because honestly, I only want to know what I want to know, or I really want to hear what I want to hear. That's very egoistic paradigm, I think. But that's us as a social media netizen. Or is there any possibility for young Sirega to send a letter to Facebook or to Google that recommended the company to make impartial information. Even though I like certain pages of, for example, for example, I really like and I really adore Prabhu, for example. So I like everything related to him, even the shoes he wore. Anything about Prabhu, I love that. Is there any possibility for you as a person who have interests to make us more impartial or more cover every sides, or in a journalist, we know that as a cover both sides, or number one or number two? Is there any possibility for you to write to them on the Facebook or the Google to make it more impartial from their side as their job to make the citizen aware about the possibility if they just follow whatever they want to do to support your impartiality idea. Because we now have a check analyze your friend, your colleague, because this in Facebook Singapore, you can write that.
So I see three inputs and questions. The first is regarding, is it the responsibility of social media? The second concerns about, people read what they like to read or what they want to hear. But lastly, talks about whether it's possible for me to send a letter to Facebook. Regarding the first part, whether it is the responsibilities of social media, I personally think that back then it wasn't. But now, given the shift of function, where they now retain so much information, and they are now the channel in which individuals inside the society retrieve information, it now becomes their responsibilities as well. Because we cannot rely on individuals inside society to filter these informations. And hence, it is now social media companies as well, as the one that delivers these informations, to start making helping or assisting the government to help create societies that can assess information. So personally, if the question is regarding responsibilities, it is on social media companies' responsibilities. But the second question, which is very, very interesting, regarding I only read what I want to hear, for example, and this is actually already explained by numerous scholars. It is called as the phenomenon of echo chamber, where you're already echo chamber, where you're trapped in your echo chamber and only reads what you like. That is a normal thing. But in my solution, I will acknowledge that these phenomena cannot be simply dismantled by the existence of social media providing an impartial information. It is then up to the users, and hence, in my proposal, in my submission, although this exists, the state must also actively encourage educations towards the society that opens up the possibilities of them challenging what their preconceived stance are. Because usually, the people who are trapped in echo chamber are usually people that are in the environment continuously being doctrined by a certain information, and they always think that, okay, this one is the right one, and I only want to consume information regarding this. I don't like that my stance is being challenged. But usually, environment, for example, even in the tertiary education like Fhui, I personally think that the environment actually supports you to challenge your stance, because I meet numerous people from diverse backgrounds, and hence I'm open to say, okay, my view can be wrong, and hence my proposal should be go hand in hand with the government continuing their pursuit of disseminating education, for example. And this phenomenon of echo chamber, I would concede that it's not only going to be settled with my proposal, but also with the assistance of the states in encouraging more diverse view and to dismantle this echo chamber. But lastly, on whether it is possible for me to send a letter to Facebook, this is interesting. Thank you. Now I know that one of our alumni is in Facebook Singapore. That is, thank you. Of course I can, and inshallah, I will if I have the chance to do so, and it will be an honor. And as an individual who now understands the problem with impartiality, the role that I have is not only by sending letters to Facebook, but I can start encouraging my closest people, including my mother, to understand that news should not be seen in impartial, but it must be seen in a holistic manner, and hence you can rationalize, for example, the opposing view why people like Jokowi, for example, not only Prabowo, which I personally think, therefore, the problem is not only going to be solved by fully create circulation, but all parts of us must take, and that includes all the rest.
Okay. The discussion is getting hotter, I believe. Okay, so.
Please talk about the regulation.
Okay, right. Now it's 12:16. We have a recess for 1 hour. So at 1:5:15, we're going to commence again for the last 4 finalists. So please be here on time and